There was a lot of cuddling going on there in the house. Can you tell me about
This is episode 2.
that cuddling and or canoodling?
Canoodling. Oh, that's a good one. Well, I am kind of like a weird cuddler where I like to cuddle, and then right when it's time to fall asleep, I bounce.
He's a drive-by cuddler.
I love that.
He's gonna drive by, he's gonna cuddle, and right when you think something's gonna happen, he's gonna skirt on you.
Smart man, because what's gonna happen in a twin bed?
That a lot in challenge history, a lot has happened in twin beds.
I mean, Jimmy, I'm gonna need you to get a little creative, girl.
That mattress will be on the ceiling when I'm done.
Well,
Hey everyone, I'm Devyn Simone, and welcome to another episode of The Challenge Aftermath. I am sitting here with the cast of The Challenge All-Stars, and this time I have Darrell, Nehemiah, Hisela, Jemmye, and Katie hanging with me. And in this episode, Nehemiah pulls out a win, and Katie gets into a fight with Trishelle, so we've got a lot to talk about. But before we dive into that, this is you all's first time here on The Aftermath, except for Hisela, who's kicking it with me in episode 1. How does it feel to be back in the game, you guys? How does it feel to be here?
I loved it. It was a great experience. A lot of the old faces that I haven't seen in a long time came back, and it was just a more mature crowd, which I could vibe with. They could understand my lingo a lot more.
So you're saying that they get that old people speak is basically what we're...
Not old people. It's that 80s and 90s.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
those
The
80s
real
and
years.
90s babies.
You know what I mean? Where we didn't shave our legs.
Oh.
I mean,
you know what I mean? We
I
still
don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. Nehemiah, when was the last time we saw you on a challenge? How long has it been?
It's been 10 years,
10 years.
oh wow.
maybe a little bit more.
A decade. That's crazy. And Katie, how long has it been since we've seen you on a challenge?
10 years.
We got a decade and a decade. And then Jim, when was the last time that we saw you on one?
2017.
Oh my gosh, it's been 4 years, Jemmye. That's so long. I mean, it's
Which
not
is a long
10
time
years,
for
but
me
it is.
because I'm always here. They win.
So excited to have you guys back. Nehemiah or Katie, did you guys have a feeling going into this challenge? Because you've been out of the game for a while, were you scared, nervous, excited, ready to prove some people wrong? Like, what was kind of going through your head?
I was just excited. I thought it would be fun. I don't care about proving people anything, but it was just, I was excited to travel and see a lot of familiar faces.
That's awesome. And Nehemiah, what about you?
It was really exciting because I've seen some of the challenges leading up to this one, and it's so different than when I was on it. So just to see them take it up a notch with the challenges, with the production level, with everything, it was really cool to be able to be a part of the old school stuff and then now the new school stuff that they're doing.
Now, I have a question for everyone in the house. Why did you pick the roommates that you did or the rooms that you did?
I couldn't walk because, like an idiot, I wore high heels that day. And so I just let Trishelle pick the room, and then she threw like a purse or something on there and was like, this is Katie's bed.
That makes sense. Jim, what about you? I feel like you're always scheming. And by always, I mean always. So.
Yes, I strategically picked a room. I first and foremost roomed with my number one, who's Jemmye. But then we roomed with 2 girls that we didn't know anything about, so we could figure these bitches out. So then Kendal and Arissa. Because I knew Trishelle was next door with Anissa, trusted them. Katie and Trishelle are friends. I've always loved Katie. So I knew that they're right there. So with me, it just came down to me, my number one, and 2 other girls that we don't know.
That makes sense. And what about for the boys? Nehemiah, what was your thought process?
I
in
mean,
picking
you know,
the
it's
rooms?
kind of like any job that you go to, depending on what you want to do, if you want to move up or if you just are cool with it. I wanted to move up. So I roomed with the boss. I roomed with Mark Long. And I think that it was good to be connected with somebody who, 1, had experience, but 2, I wasn't really in an alliance with. So I can kind of like learn from them, but also kind of see what he had up his sleeve.
Okay, let's talk about this episode's challenge.
Today's challenge is called Ancient Challenge History. Since you are all the all-stars of this game, it's time for you to dig deep and go back into your past, because today we'll test your memory of challenge history in a whole new way. To begin, I'm gonna line you guys up on that big rig, 30 feet above water. And right in front of you, there are circles. So I'm gonna ask you a series of questions. If you get the question right, you're good to go. Just stay where you're at. However, you get that question wrong, you have to take a step forward. The floor gets thinner and thinner as you step out.
Sounds interesting. Gisela, can you set this one up for us?
Girl, they should have left this right there in the ruins, honey, because this was a hot mess. It was a nonsense. They took us to some deserted area where there was like a plataforma 50 feet in the air. And you have to answer these trivia questions. And every time you get a question wrong, you have to step forward. And you don't know when it's going to break.
And did that affect you all answering trivia, Gisela? Like, because in your mind, you're trying to calculate, if I take a step, is this going to support me? So is that like messing with, does that make it harder to do the trivia?
No, I think everybody knew beyond a shadow of a doubt, like, you're going to fall. I think the bigger problem was you want to make sure you don't fall first.
Right. So Jemmye, you win this challenge. Are you just good at trivia, or did you get lucky?
You know
He
what
got
question
easy
he got?
questions.
He got the question.
Wes, how to spell the
challenge backwards.
And also a
No,
question
spell
about
challenge
Wes,
backwards.
And a question about
And the
Wes.
challenge is right up there on the
Look,
apparatus.
I didn't
And
know
I'm
we
just
were
hating.
handing out haterade before this episode started.
I am hating.
Darrell, you've been a part of more challenge than I have. You should have got more answers right.
You right.
Oh,
you
wow,
right.
okay.
But that challenge backwards, come on, bro.
That's
It
one
was,
question.
on
though.
every, it was on every.
That's only
it was
one
on
question.
Every pillar.
And a Wes question.
But to answer a West question, that would be like, Jemmye, do you know every question about Jonnay? Do you know every question about your friends? No, we don't.
Yeah,
No.
I do.
You do,
Ask me
but
a
I
question
don't.
about Devyn.
I had to go back and research some of the challenges that were happening, some of the people that were on, and I kind of had to do some studying. So that, I think that's what pushed me over. And obviously spelling
didn't do
challenge
that.
backwards, you know.
I didn't do that either.
Gisela.
I only watch the ones I'm on.
Darrell, we know you did a lot of studying, but it sounds like you have some haterade for Jemmye because he beat you in this. So are you still a little mad about it?
He won fair and square. I was mad as hell when I heard spell challenge backwards.
I would've loved
when
that
I
But
was
that's
hot.
only one
'Cause
question.
it's right up there on
That's only
apparatus.
one question. Out
You're
of a
right.
lot.
You're right. You deserve to win, though. He deserved to win. There was one I should have got right.
The Veronica question. Yeah, when you
Yeah,
got
3
that wrong, I
challenges,
said
yeah.
drop him, him.
Oh,
Darrell, I will see you later.
And you know what? You were right, Devyn. The fact that you're up there and you know you got to
Right.
take step forward, my
You
thinking
know
wasn't
Darrell
all
don't
there.
like heights. He's a little baby.
Me and Cranes
Yeah.
don't get
Me
along.
neither, Darrell. I feel you.
Me either.
Back on Cutthroat, Katie, you had a terrible fall.
Yes.
Wasn't a good moment for you. When you're faced with this particular challenge, walk us through the inner feelings and workings of Katie in this moment.
Well, I was nervous because any kind of apparatus or heights over challenge, I get hurt. I just have really awkward, weird falls. And I don't know if it's because I panic and I just do like these amoeba moves.
What's amoeba fall?
Like, you know, like it's all weird, like stupid. It's not classy. You don't fall like
and
this.
an amoeba is a water bacteria.
Yes, it is. So Katie felt like
Yeah.
bacteria is what Katie is
Yes,
saying.
I'm just saying it was like this shapeless mess. Hitting your face sucks anyways, but last time I had like black eyes for like 6 weeks. My face was just ruined. And so on this one, I'm like, I don't want that to happen again. And it'd been
Yeah.
10 years since that show.
I'm a mom.
Yeah, I'm a mom. I don't do this stuff anymore.
I can't have a black eye going to soccer practice.
Right.
I was standing right next to her. And the whole time she was like, I'm going to be the one that gets hurt. I'm going to be the one that gets hurt. I'm like, Katie, you're freaking me out right now. But in her defense, she was the one that got her.
Did anyone else have any strong feelings about this particular challenge, good or
Oh,
bad?
his-
Me.
Gisela did.
I
Gisela
hated this. They asked questions about Coral, and I'm like, to me, she's wallpaper. Like, we've always had this thing where she always acts like super cool with me when I'm there. And then I find out years later when I like maybe catch an episode or like see something where that she's been talking behind my back the whole time. So for me, Coral is not somebody I really care for at all. And they're asking me questions about her. I'm like, bitch, first of all, I don't like her in person. You think I'm gonna like her in trivia? Like, no. But besides the point, when I did this challenge, I didn't think like this was anything like of importance until somebody didn't do it. And then I was like, okay, really? Like, you couldn't do this challenge. Like this challenge was a no-brainer.
It's not a no-brainer. It's all brain.
Well,
This is
yeah.
trivia.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's
It's
no
all brain.
athletic. You're right. No athletic ability.
Nehemiah
like,
wants you to put some respect on his name for winning this challenge, for
Okay.
spelling the
Do you know
challenge
what I'm saying?
backwards, even though it was in front of him. Nehemiah wants
Thank
you
you.
It's
to
a
respect
West
it.
question.
right. It was
Thank you,
okay. It
thank
was
you.
all
And
brain.
can we go on record?
Yes, Jimmy.
Who won for the girls?
Anissa.
Anissa, I think.
Anissa.
How many challenge has Anissa's
Oh, yeah,
done?
She
Anissa.
did
All
all
of
of
them.
them. That's how she knew all the answers.
14. 14.
Loyalty.
I was like, you lived it. Of course you know.
Other than Katie, did this particular challenge bring any flashbacks of other trivia challenges that you've been on in previous seasons?
I hate all trivia because it means you're going to fall awkwardly into water. This was better than the rest.
Darrell, didn't you have to do one where you guys were like just recently where you're like holding on to something and you're like falling forward? I thought that was
hanging.
worse.
But you know when you're
Yeah.
gonna fall, you feel it. But
Really?
stepping is
Because I
different.
thought that was worse. I seen that. I was like, oh, baby, I'm glad they didn't do that.
Y'all should watch Battle of the Seasons. Devyn was there. Falling backwards in a wooden desk will
Because you do like a
right or wrong,
yeah,
Devyn.
you do a bit of a flip.
Can't you be good enough?
I didn't win that one, but I did win the trivia on free agent, so I didn't fall. I kept my hair dry.
This was my first trivia challenge.
Oh, Nehemiah, this is your first trivia challenge.
It was mine too.
First.
And he won.
mine too.
Good job,
Good
baby.
job.
You know what's crazy? The same thing happened to me because that was my first one on Double
Oh,
Agents,
nice.
and I won.
Congrats.
But
That's
then you
awesome.
lost this time, Joel.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know.
Me
Why
too.
you keep trying to bring up
I know
winning?
because I didn't get challenged backwards. I was jealous and I was hot, and then it got in my head.
Let's switch gears and talk about the deliberation.
What happened? Up there?
It's kind of embarrassing because I froze, right? He said whatever question it was, I don't know, I got it wrong. And he goes, I'm gonna need you to give a little hop. So I'm like, okay.
Because you were already on 3, so you were
Hop.
supposed to hop up
But
so
I
you can
wasn't-
go through.
Well then, so I'm like, wait a second, this doesn't make sense. So do I hop back onto it this way? Am I gonna smash my face? Like, okay, how do I do that? Sorry, my mouth is really dry. Is there water?
Now, Kendal tries to explain that she was on the last ring, but instead of, stepping in place, she steps forward. What are your thoughts on that?
I feel like if we talk about Kendal, Darrell's gonna defend her. So go ahead, Darrell, defend her
Just
before
go
me and
I'm
Darrell.
ahead.
gonna
Just
defend
go
her
ahead,
too.
Darrell.
I'm gonna
Just-
defend her too.
I wasn't up there, but obviously there was some truth to her not wanting to jump and fall because she was scared. And all she had to do was jump up. But because she was so light, when she jumped forward. And she probably looked like, oh, well, it didn't break. So, I was like, oh, here we go. Just say you were scared to jump. That's all she had to do. But the fact that she didn't made her the scapegoat, easier to throw her in because everybody's looking for another name to throw in
Right.
as long as it's
They
not
just want a
there. So
reason.
I get it.
So.
And y'all can say whatever y'all want.
Baby, we
No,
gonna
we
say
will.
we
Don't
gonna say
worry.
what we
Settle in,
wanna
Jimmy.
say.
Hold on.
Don't
Okay,
worry.
okay.
Nobody
Hold
heard
on.
it
Be
back.
that gallery.
Ain't nobody heard it
Blondie
back to
and
you,
Blondie.
baby.
Blondie and Blondie. Hold on. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Hold on. We're going to get there because I want to hear what you guys say too. But Katie is awful quiet. Katie, what are your thoughts about this?
I love Kendal and
Roommates.
Yeah, we were roommates back in the early days. I felt like it was going to be her name. So when it was deliberation, I went with the crowd as a follower because it was just early on. And after I did, I apologized and said I wouldn't do it again. I was disappointed in myself, but it was like, why piss off someone new when this is going to happen no matter what?
But also, Katie, what other name would you say in that situation
I know.
besides
Well, that's
hers?
what I'm saying is I
Yours.
would
Say
have
my
made
name.
someone else pissed. It wouldn't have
Exactly.
been a smart gameplay for me.
No, you did
No, I
what was
wouldn't.
best for
Not at
your
all.
game, so you should never feel sorry.
Well, I
or
don't like to
guilty
hurt
about
people's
that.
feelings. And when she was up there, she was struggling and she was very upset. And I did feel bad for that.
Do you think Kendal would have voted you in if the roles were reversed?
I don't think so.
Yes.
You think so? I don't know. I don't.
Yes.
I mean,
Hell, I
I
think so. Just hearing it, I feel like
She
she
hates
would've-
you because you're the fun girl, and she
Maybe.
always wants to be the fun girl, Katie. She hates you. You're the fun girl. You and Trishelle are fun. She's not fun. Yes.
I don't. I mean, maybe if I was the reason, it was my own fault, then possibly. Or if everybody else was voting for me, then yeah. But I don't think she would have
Katie.
set out to vote for me.
She would definitely vote you in because you're everything that she's not.
This just got real deep.
Right?
I think Kendal had like a strategy where she was like only voting like the second.
Wanted to be the victim.
Yeah, her strategy was victim. And that like, it upsets me so much, accountability goes so far with someone like myself, okay? The perception, and I said this before, and it was the reason I didn't room with Anissa, is because the perception is when you have a friendship with someone, you have an alliance. I came into this game ready to vote every last one of y'all off.
You wanted to burn the whole place down. You were just.
I was ready. I came for my money, and my money funny, honey. I'm not here for friendship, okay? Because I've been through a lot of things in life with and without y'all. So trust and believe that I did not have like that alliance. If anything, people were throwing names around like Ruthie. Ruthie was a target for a lot of individuals. And I'm like, I don't even give a about Ruthie like that. Like, I don't understand why y'all want to put her in first. But I later found out that a lot of people were playing off of history. So in history, I guess Ruthie was a strong contender. I wasn't looking at that. The only thing I looked at was Kendal didn't complete the challenge. My problem with her was that when she came down, she didn't own it. We are too damn old. Now, if you was on challenge 36, 37, double angels, whatever, and you want to lie with them little kids, baby, that's okay, because that's what y'all do. Y'all 20-something. Y'all ain't got no accountability. But we up here in the 40s, you can't come at me with no BS like that. You got to own it. She said, and I quote, I'm not about to get my face beat in. Well, Katie just got her face beat in, okay, with this little plataforma. So you're not going to tell me you're not going to get your face beat in. That's not how this game is played. Again, that was my only thing with her. You guys all played into her victim game.
I didn't play to her victim game. I said the same thing you said. She lied. Well, she was scared. Obviously, she was scared.
And that's why I gave her an opportunity in the deliberation to come clean.
11 girls went up, 9 completed and hit water, 1 victor, and then there was you, Kendal. So tell us what happened.
If anyone can take a waterfall, it's Katie Doyle Cooley. And if Katie took that fall, then Kendal should have took that fall. But Kendal got out of that fall and wanted to blame that she was skinny and light. Arissa's skinny and light, and she still fell. And that's what I kept asking her. Why did Arissa fall and you didn't fall?
She should have just admitted it.
She should have. And if she would have admitted it, I was ready to vote Ruthie
in a deliberation.
Kendal tells you, Nehemiah, not to use the lifesaver on her. Why?
She pretty much was like, don't use the lifesaver because I want to go in. I had very deep conversations with Kendal, and also I called Kendal out on her. So when she came up to me and said that, you know, I gained some respect for her because most people are trying to avoid the arena. You don't have many people who are like, I'm going in, I'm excited to go in, I'm either willing to volunteer myself, or if I get nominated, I'm willing to take all of it. Nobody wants to go in. Everybody talks the game when they're away from it. Oh, I'll go in, I'll do this, but no one does.
The whole point of elimination is to avoid it.
And that's completely agreeable, but the difference is...
That's the whole point of the elimination is to avoid it.
I understand that, but if that's your goal, do not talk big and bad when you're away from the elimination. If your goal is to avoid it, that's fine, but be honest about that. Don't act big and bad.
Darrell, most people voted for Kendal, but you voted for Katie. Why is that?
Burn vote.
Burn vote.
Oh my God.
Burn vote.
I felt bad for her, and I just didn't want. It looked like her spirit was already shot, so I was just trying to lift her up a little bit. And I knew if I threw it at Katie, Katie wouldn't take it personally because Katie knows I love her. So Katie was the person I was most excited to see this season because I haven't seen her in years. It was no ill will towards her, and it was like they said, a burn vote, pretty much.
Now, something that we do want to talk about, and including sort of a triangle or confusion or craziness, is Katie. You and Trishelle, you former roommates, besties, you guys get into it. What happens and why the hell does it escalate so quickly?
16 years ago, we're talking about.
Yes.
Let it go. After the deliberation, I got food instead of going upstairs telling her that it was Kendal that was going to go against her. And she was just pissed. And that's what started it. That I decided to eat instead of going to her. And it made me a really bad friend. So I apologized. And then we squashed it. And everything was fine. She wrestled Ruthie. We were hanging out. And then I guess middle of the night, she's like, wait, I'm really mad about that again. And there you go.
I saw the wrestling match. That's what started it. I'm sorry. Y'all go ahead.
The root of the problem is that when someone is put in a disposition like going into the arena, a lot of emotions fester. And you have to lash out somehow.
But I mean, yeah, you're nervous and you're uncomfortable and it's anxious, but you went on this show. You know it's going to happen, or there's a really good chance. So I just didn't expect her to lash out whatever she was feeling on me in that like capacity.
Yeah, because you guys had such a history and
Yeah.
a real deep
So
friendship.
I was more like kind of stunned, really.
Katie, I feel for you and I send you love. That's very difficult when people throw personal jabs at us that don't have anything to do with the show.
Let's move on to the elimination.
There are 2 structures in here. To begin, I'm gonna hook you to a 200-foot, very heavy rope. And when I say go, you're gonna go in, out, and around your structure. Do it as best you can, because at the end of 20 minutes, you're gonna trade. And you're gonna have to undo what your opponent just did. First person to get their rope free from the structure, bring it all the way into the circle, will win tonight's elimination round and stay in the game.
Darrell, so you've done this elimination before.
Did you beat somebody?
No, I got sent
CT
home on
beat
the
you.
last
CT
elimination to
beat
CT.
you.
So
Yep.
you got beat in this very game, and then you were on the sideline giving advice to Kendal. How does that work?
What do you mean? I had to help her out a little bit.
Well, I
You
mean,
what
was
did
the
I tell her?
advice good?
Everything you did wrong?
Hindsight's always 20/20. You're like, I should have done this and this, and I think that's what he was trying to do for her.
Yeah, what's the best strategy to win this?
Stay in one area, tie as many knots as you can, and tighten them as you go, because you're not going to be able to get through them once they switch.
Yeah.
So just make one big ball of knots. Because I did the same thing. I started going all over the place like Trishelle did, but I didn't make no knots on the ground. I made them all up, and I was like, oh, he ain't going to be able to do that. And when I looked at CTs, I was like, he didn't even do nothing. You get over there, you cannot get through them holes.
Now, Nehemiah, at one point in the height of Katie and Trishelle's fight, Katie yells in the fiery way that she does.
Tell Nehemiah to give the lifesaver and call me in. We'll see what the happens.
Now, obviously, they made up, which is great. But did you think for a
That's why we
moment
love
that
Katie.
you would have to do that? And if so, would you have been down to do it?
Hell yeah. I would have been down.
I mean-
Hell yeah, I would have been down to do it. I definitely would have been down to do it. Seeing 2 people who really want to go head to head is always one of the best things to see when you're looking at an elimination. But I would have been, I definitely would have been open.
And Katie, if you and Trishelle did indeed have to go against one another, who would have won?
With that, that could have been a tight race because I would have just naturally thinking I would have done what Darrell said he did. I would have ran all over the place. But
I would have
I don't know
helped
if
you.
I trust that help, Katie. I mean, I don't.
Honey, he cannot be trusted.
How did everyone feel about Trishelle going home that round? Like, Katie, how did you feel given everything you guys had just gone through in the last,
Well,
24
I
hours?
did cheer for her, and I did encourage her to stay. She tried to quit the show, said she wanted to go home, and I sat with her and I told her, you need to just, compete, like whatever. I think she was embarrassed, and but I wanted her to try to stay and finish it out. So I was cheering for her when she was in her elimination. We have not spoken since the show.
Is that usual? Do you guys usually speak more frequently than that, or is it normal that you haven't spoken since the show?
No, I mean, especially now after we would normally talk.
I heard that Trishelle reached out to your family, but not you.
She talked to my husband and my mom.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, she basically said she was an asshole, and so I was happy about that.
She told them that, but she didn't tell you that.
Mhm. What I was most mad about is that everything that she said was intentional to hurt me, to embarrass me. That's what I was hurt about, is that it was just like, that was rage. That was like, how long have you felt this way about me? Because it's coming out of left field, and you're talking about random things. Some of it's half truth. So coming back, it's not like, sorry I voted you in, or sorry, I screwed you over in a game. I'm like, I don't think you really liked me ever. So I think I'm good.
All right, well, you guys know, or maybe you don't know, but on this show, one of my favorite things to do is play a little game because, well, why not? So we are going to play one of my favorites, which is Challenge Trivia Redemption. So since in this episode you guys had to do trivia and you got some of them wrong, then you have an opportunity to redeem yourself. I'm going to ask you those questions again and see if you're smarter since the last time we saw you play trivia. Now, some of the questions that you answered on this episode actually didn't necessarily make it to air, but I hit up my boy TJ, we're cool like that, and he gave me some additional questions that he asked you. So hopefully you make us proud. All right, Katie, which heavyweight boxing champion was the only one to finish his career of 49 fights without ever being defeated?
I know what I said, It was
Okay, what did you say it was?
Evander Holyfield, I think.
That is what you said it was, and that was not correct. Now, who is the correct answer?
He
Was it
Joe
Rocky?
Lewis's ass.
Good job, Rocky.
It is Rocky.
Okay, well, I mean, I
job.
remember they told me
Rocky Marciano.
afterwards, but it's not something I care about, so I.
Rocky
She was
who?
talking about Rocky Balboa.
Rocky who
I'm
though?
gonna give her just
Yeah,
Rocky.
I know
Yeah.
Rocky Balboa.
It's Rocky Marciano, but I'm gonna give her that. Good job, Katie. I'm proud of you. All right, Hisela, this one's for you, girl. Look, she's already side-eyeing. Come on. In mathematics, what is the value of pi to 2 decimal places?
I got it wrong then. I'm gonna get it wrong now, but 1.77.
Nope, I don't know where you pulled that from, but you know it was
Okay.
worth a try. Your initial answer was 5278.
3458.
It was like your PIN code or something to your security system.
You know, whatever.
And the correct answer, does anybody know the correct answer? Jimmy, what's the correct?
3.14.
Thank you, 3.14.
Yeah, we all know that.
There you go.
That is
We know
pi.
that. That's
Correct.
pi.
Gosh, I wish I
That's
had that
pi.
one.
Durrell, this one is for you.
Durr.
And Durrell, the fact that you got this one wrong, bruh, like, seriously.
The better not be the Veronica
Okay.
Okay,
question.
Veronica.
All right.
Veronica.
No, that's not it.
All right, go ahead.
Who said E equals MC squared?
You didn't get
Come on
this?
now.
Einstein.
No!
Albert Einstein, idiot.
Don't say
That's what I
Katie.
said.
Be quiet.
Same dude.
You're supposed to answer it properly.
Same dude.
I'm sorry.
Oh, Albert
It's
Einstein.
okay. Yes, Katie helped you out, but you took too long to answer that.
I
You
keep
kept
saying Isaac Newton. I don't know why. Because his name popped. You know why? Because I love inertia. Things keep doing what they tend to do, and that's why I keep moving so I never get old. So I always think of Isaac Newton, the laws of Newton. So that's.
I'm about to throw some haterade. You talking about me for spelling challenge backwards. You don't even know who said E equals
Hey, I know what
MC
pi
squared.
is.
Yeah, E equal
3.14.
MC
That's my
squared.
hater.
That's real basic, but it's all right. We still love you, Darrell. Nehemiah, now this one you just talked smack, so I hope you can back it up because now I'm coming. For
I
you.
can't.
Yeah,
I can't.
and at least you're honest about it. All right,
can't.
Nehemiah, what challenge legend received a wedgie from Mike the Miz on the Inferno?
Brad.
And you answered it
Yep.
Adam the first time, which was wrong, wrong. And Brad is the correct answer.
That was the necklace!
Good job, Nehemiah. You have redeemed yourself. All right, Katie, this one's you. Which challenge legend said, I don't need a gauntlet, bitch. I will cut you with my words.
Anissa.
I don't need a gauntlet, bitch. I will cut you with words.
Yes.
Yes, Katie, Anissa did say that. Your first answer was Coral. But
Yeah, it sounded like something Coral would say, but Anissa was like, that was
Sound
me,
like
and I
Coral.
guess I was there. But
Yeah.
And now, Jimmy, I expect you to get this one.
What?
Who directed the Lord? Jimmy, put it down.
I don't have the phone.
Yes, you did.
Playing a dirty game. All right, who directed Lord of the Rings trilogy?
I originally said Orlando Bloom because he was in it.
Can we just take a step up, Teach?
Yes.
Okay, I got you.
But now I know it was Peter Jackson.
Good job! Yes, good job, Jim. See, you didn't need to
I
cheat.
learned from my mistakes, baby.
All right, everyone. Well, that's a wrap on this episode of the Challenge Aftermath. I'm your host, Devyn Simone. Thank you for hanging here with me and with us. Make sure you check out a new episode of the Challenge All-Stars, now streaming on Paramount+. But in the meantime, here's a sneak peek of episode 3.
Today's challenge is called Melt Away.
We're gonna have to use our bodies to melt this ice.
Sounds like a little bit of amateur porn to me. She plays this game paranoid every single time.
what are you talking about now?
It's just a projection. She'll be okay. She won't remember tomorrow.
Really? Go yourself, Anissa.